Hi, welcome to my new series on my multi-defense that I've been running for about the last 10 years or so. It's called the Parker's Pirate 62 Multi-8 Youth Football Defense, or really just the 62 Multi-8. Like I said, I've been running this about the last 10 years. This season, I've had a group of awesome 11-year-olds running the system. We currently have 8 straight shutouts in a row. These boys have really taken this defense to a new level. I've been meaning to put a book together, and thought I'd start out with the video series and then lead into kind of a defensive playbook that we could start. So I hope you enjoyed the video. It'll be over probably a series of 5 to 10 episodes. So let me know how you like it in the comments below, and like it or share it if you do like it. If you don't, please leave a comment, let me know why. But let's get on and start talking about the 62 multi-8 youth football defense. A lot of folks ask me why multi-defense, and a lot of folks are like, this is complicated, you need to keep it simple. I definitely believe you need to keep things simple, but I also think a lot of coaches don't really expect a whole lot out of their players, and that's probably not right. Their young minds right now will suck up a lot of information, and I've learned over the last several years that kids will learn a lot if you teach it well. So the other thing, why a multi-defense is because I've learned just one defensive formation doesn't really work. Eventually, the offense is going to find out that particular weakness and attack that. So a multi-defensive front formation allows you to hide these weaknesses, so it's harder for the offense coordinator to find these weaknesses. You confuse the offensive line also on their blocking calls when you shift around and do multiple fronts. A lot of times kids think they're blocking one particular player, even if they've got rules for blocking kind of a zone area. By moving kids around, they focus on a particular kid, and it kind of opens up certain gaps for you when, say, one kid will move out and they think they're always blocking that particular person. So it really helps that set up, and confuse blocking schemes. And it also confuses the offensive coordinator on where he's going to run. One play, you've got the 3 gap open. The next play, maybe only, the 5 gaps open, and he's called, to a 3 gap now because it was open on the last play, and he runs right into your big man. So really, that's what the multi-defense does. It creates chaos for the offense, is what you're trying to do. You're trying to stay in control of the game and not let them dictate what's going on. Plus, the kids, find it fun, especially when you're blitzing and you're putting them in the right places to make big plays. They know that you're on their team and can help them out and help them make great tackles and interceptions. So that's why I've gone to a multi-defense, and it's really because one defense does not work for multiple offenses and multiple teams. And then you're asking me why a 6-2 base defense, because this is a 62 multi-8. And really the 62 multi-8 is it's a base 6-2, but I move multiple 8 people around. I move a lot of these front 8 guys around quite a bit, and that's why it's called that. So why a 6-2? It's a proven defense at the youth level. You might have read Dave Caesar and some others. They're big on the 6-2 wide tackle. I was running a 6-2 tight. I started running a 6-2 wide tackle, and then I started moving into multiple 6-2 and 8-man kind of fronts. And the 6-2 is very good defense. It's very strong against the run, which really relates to the youth football group, because not a lot of guys are passing. It's easy to move into 6 and 8-man fronts quickly and move in and out of those. All gaps are pretty much accounted for in a 6-2. And look, most recreational football players are not great linebackers, so a lot of us played a 5-3 or a 5-2 in high school. A lot of folks maybe played a 4-3 or 3-5-5 now, some of the younger coaches out there. But all those linebackers and everything, youth football players really don't know how to read that well or not quick, especially at the recreational level. Maybe you have that at the select level, some of you guys, but you really want to get kids in gaps in the backfield quickly to create chaos and not having them read what's going on. I found that to work better for me. I want to attack and penetrate the offensive line and cause havoc in the backfield, and that's what a 6-2 base defense does for me. My defensive strategy is to create chaos for the offense. I want to stop the run, interrupt the passing game. Don't let a big pass occur. I want to attack the offense. I want to dictate the game flow. I'm a big proponent of scouting. Definitely turn your scouting into skill. You want to equalize strength. You want to spy their fastest tailbacks, put big on big. Use your speed if you've got it, and do some stunting and blitzing. That's a big thing. And most of all is you want to have effective team communication. You want to make sure your team understands where everybody is, top 5 plays, top 2 players, what they're looking for, and make sure you've communicated all that prior to the game. And I guarantee your defense will be a strong defense. My defensive goals, pretty much every game, is do not let them score on offense. Definitely keep them under 12 or 18 points, but I want shutouts. I want to score on defense. A lot of defensive coordinators forget this. We want to put points on the board. That is a huge change in momentum and point shift if you can score on one of their drives. We want to attack the offensive side of the ball. We don't want to be reading on our side. We want to put our people in their backfield to disrupt the quarterback and handoffs. We want to limit any offensive play that goes over 12 to 15 yards a carry. We just don't want long yard runs or long gains. We want to create turnovers. We want to make sure we're controlling the field position. We want to make sure we can stop our opponent on short yardage situations. We want to have the best communication we can on the field, and we want to make sure we're using our hands and speed. Hands are weapons. Make sure your players are using their hands to push, pull, do whatever they need to do to get into the backfield and make tackles. Tackling is the big thing on defense. Pursue, grab cloth, make form tackles. Whatever you need to do, get a hold of the ball carrier. That is my defensive goals. Some defensive keys that you probably should be thinking about every game. You want to learn the offensive snap count. That's a big deal. It helps you get off the line faster. You want to know the down and distance every play. You want to know where the wide short side of the field is. You want to identify their strong set of offense. Are they in a big overloaded side for the line? Are their running backs in a beast kind of overloaded situation? Are they in trips or a spread? Which side is the trips? Which side has their best backs on? Are they faking the backside of their trip or their spread formation? So you really want to know where their best people and the strong side of their offense is. You want to communicate for crack back blocks, pulling guards, any type of weird formation. If you can't get that communicated to your players when you see it, or they can't communicate, drop a timeout, communicate what's going on if you see something weird. Don't allow them to get a big play because everybody's confused. And look, you want to make sure you find their top running back and receiver and know what their quarterback is doing pretty much on every play. So that is a big, huge deal. I call him the rabbit. If they've got a great tailback, I want to know where the rabbit is on every play. So that's the overall general kind of intro into the 6'2 multi-8 youth football defense and what I'm trying to overall look for on defense. Now we'll go into kind of the introduction of player names and kind of where they fit. So let's get down to this now. Let's get into this. So my position names on my defense, I name them, and they're a little weird, but it helps me and helps the players know where everybody is. So let's go through this. So wide side of the field, my cornerback's wide side, his name is Carl. because that cornerback, the C, is Carl, cornerback. The wide side linebacker or outside linebacker D end is named Will for wide. So I know that's a little backwards, but W equals wide for Will. Defensive tackle D for wide is Dan. My gunner, who's kind of a cross between an inside linebacker and a defensive guard, he's a gunner. The rover linebacker, inside linebacker, he's kind of a D-back, strong safety. He's called the rover. And our free safety is called Fred. So we got Carl, Will, Dan, Gunner, Rover, and Fred are kind of wide-sided guys. The short side cornerback for cornerback, B for Bob, or boundary, or short, is Bob. Sam for short side, he's the outside linebacker DN. Short, Sam. Tank is the other part of defensive tackle with the T. He's the tank for the tackle. The nose guard is a knob and used for N for nose guard. And Mike is our middle linebacker, our bigger linebacker, and he's short-sided, and he's the big, slower kind of the linebacker of the rover, other inside linebacker. He is Mike, because he's usually kind of in the middle on a lot of stunning and things that go on there. So those are the position names. So let me just set up this first 6'2" wide tackle, and we could go into multis, but we can show how it's set up here. This is the wide side of the field here we'll consider. So you got Will, the wide side defensive end, Carl, the wide side corner. You've got Fred moved over here to take up this other tight end. You've got Dan here on the wide side. The gunner is a little bit faster than the nose, so he's wide-sided. And the rover, who is faster than Mike, is on the wide side. So you can see this wide side group here. And then you've got on the back side, you've got your nose, knob, Mike, tank. Short side is for Sam, linebacker, defensive end. And the boundary cornerback, or the short-sided cornerback, is Bob here. Now, this 6'2" wide tackle, we're setting up in the wide tackle because the two tackles are wide. You see how they're up, basically up over the the tight ends here, the offensive tight ends. That's where you're getting the wide tackle. Now, it's really quick. And you can see the linebackers are in the B gap. So pretty much these two guys are in B and are in C's for the two tackles here. They've got C gap responsibility. Linebacker first has B responsibility here. Okay, and that's why that's called a wide tackle. But it's really, really quick, and we can do this real quick so you can see the multiplicity of what's going to happen here. 4 kids are going to move, and we're going to go into a tight tackle really quick. So now these tackles just come down. The linebackers now just move out. And you can see I moved right into a 6'2" tight tackle real fast with just a call from wide to tight. That's all that happened there. And then real quickly, okay, I can move into a gap 8 if I wanted to from here. And basically the linebackers now would just come up. And then I'd have the free safety kind of just move over into here. Now you see how quickly we move from a wide tackle to a tight, and then we moved into a gap 8. And that's what we're talking about when we go to multi-formations. The other things that we can do here is, let's say we want to go into a double wide tackle. So double wide tackle, I just call the tackles are out here. The nose comes out to like double tackles out here. And the linebackers come in, and basically I think this is called a split 6 defense. Boom. And that's what I call double wide. So you can see I just moved into really 4 quick 6'2"-ish kind of defenses and 8 defenses with with very simple movement of 4 to 6 players here, and they're really still playing just their gaps. And it's really easy to move into a 4-4 from here. Also, if you just called a 6, if I just called a 44 or a loose, my loose call would basically just back up these, or owl call would just back up these two DNs, and now they're basically set back up, and we're in like a split 4-4 kind of setup here. And we've got really, really strong C gap help there. So you can see that's how that multiple kind of thing works, and you're just giving the offensive line and the offensive coordinator a bunch of different looks there. But let's go over what we can look at here. So the defensive formations that I've been running fairly heavily over the last, I would say, 4 to 5 years are these, and we can go into these in more detail. But this will be pretty much it for this video, and then we'll get into detail from those. So the defensive formation is the 6-2 wide tackle that I call, 6-2 tight tackle, the 6-2 double wide tackle, the 6-2 loose, which is basically a 4-4 stack or a 4-4 split. Move into a gap 8. I run a 33 stack that you can move into real quick. 33 loosey, which is basically a 5-3 stack. There's a 45 stack over the 4 and the 5 hole, which I call the pistol. There's a linebacker stack over the 2 and 1 hole, which I call blackjack. We can then easily also move into a 5-2 rover, moving the gunner out into a linebacker and having the rover start roving. Then I can move into an air formation, which is like a 6-1. Dragon is more into like a 5-2 rover or even a 6-1 kind of thing. Cowboy and 4-3, or kind of 4-3 defenses with some little individual quirks to them. But as you can see, there's like 10, let me see how many there are. There's 10 or 11 or 12 different base formations, and I haven't got into blitzing. And what's amazing is this season and last season, I was able to run all of these without any trouble at all from people moving around, and it's quite frustrating for an offensive coordinator to understand what you're doing from game to game. Now, on some teams, I may only run 4 or 5 of these multiples because they can't get all of them. Or I may teach them all, but only run 2 or 3 a game and not all of them a game. And that's usually what happens, is we've got all of these in our back pocket, and we'll pull 2 or 3 out of these for a particular opponent because they fit well for what those guys are doing offensively. But we go over all of these pretty much quick shifts in about a 10 to 15 minute period. We do our shifting with the starters and the backup. We'll do shifting every practice so they know how to move in and out of all these little quick defensive formations. But that's about it for the intro on the 6-2 multi-8 defense. I'll definitely put some more in. You can see the other slide here. We'll go right into how we attack and where these guys will be set up on a particular formation, basically the eye, and I go into a lot more detail on how this is set up. But stay tuned for more on my 6-2 multi-8 defense. Look forward to it. If you like this video, please like it below. Leave me a comment. If you didn't like it, please let me know also. Check my blog at coachparker.org for more information, both on offense, defense, and special teams. Again, hope you enjoyed the video, and remember, play for fun, and winning is funner. See you later. Good night.